Microphone check 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the show. We have fixed the audio problems. We have fixed everything. You guys will notice a little bit of a different look here. I have set up the new home office. So let's make sure everything is sounding great and looking great here. Yeah, that sounds and looks great. Thank you for joining again. I am Sri Lankan Sammi. Today we're going to jump into talking about how is the world preparing us for the future? What have I noticed, right? Like, for example, what is school teaching us? What are we learning? We have some knowledge of the world right here, and yet people are still ignorant. And is it because this education system, our family, our structure is failing us? Or is it that there's so much information out there that we don't know what is real and what isn't? I'm not talking about fake news. I'm just talking about there's too much information out there. There's a little bit of fake news in there as well, but I want to focus more on where are we getting our information? Because you're tuned in here to get information, right? So am I the person who you should be listening to, talking to? And on that note, I want to say thank you for joining the live stream. It is Sunday morning here in Sri Lanka. What time is it? 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I really got to stop doing these early morning live streams, but I love it. I actually enjoy it. Darren, welcome, brother. Welcome. What are we talking about? 10:30 a.m. for you out there in Aussie land. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I know it says that. I know it says restream on it, and I think I'm going to start paying to get the service. It's not that expensive, but I'm going to think about how much it costs, because I just spent a lot of money this past week. The credit card came due for my airplane ticket, or it will come due next week. So that's like $2,000. And I just spent about $1,000 this past week. I bought a new screen. Okay. I bought a new ultra wide monitor, and I bought a new standing desk. As you can see, it looks different here in the background because I took the old desk and I put it over here, and I put the old workstation. I turned my old PC into a workstation, and that workstation is actually going to be my video editor, because I found that my videos are now, because okay, that's the music. Now that I'm processing my videos at a much higher rate and higher bandwidth and more quality, that it's taking a lot of processing power and a lot of time. And when I'm doing that, I can't play a video game. I can't watch a movie. Well, I can. It just affects the quality, I think. So I figured, let's move everything over there and take care of it there. But it's not junk. It's not junk. That's just It's just, stuff over there. I think what I'm going to try to do is maybe move the camera over a little bit, but it's set in the monitor. And the other thing is, you notice it's shaking a little bit. I ordered some stability stands. Why is it doing that? Oh, because I lifted my arms. I ordered some stability stands that are being delivered soon. So I'll get those. Let me see if I can move that right now. So let's see if I can fix that. So you can see, it's all junk covered. Yeah, you're right. Junk covered. The problem is that I don't have the green screen all the way over to this side. So yeah, we're gonna tweak things and do things a little bit differently so that we end up with good quality video for you guys to watch. That's the most important thing, right? Anyway, what was I gonna say? I think I'm going to get the thumbnail, pay for the service to allow me to get the thumbnail taken off. We'll figure that out. The other thing I can do on this video is, what just happened? Oh, the camera's, crap. Here's a dog, a neighbor's dog that has been howling for the last 4 hours. It's bloody annoying that people will let that happen to an animal. So annoying. There, how's that? A little bit better? There, now all you see is the desk, right? All right. What I do for you, Darren, huh? What I do for you. And brother. So, like I said, today's topic, let's fix this. There we go. As the camera I have is automated so that I just have to hold up my hand. I can zoom in or have it reset. It's like a floating camera. It's very, very intelligent. This dog is like howling. Oh, it's not annoying. It's just, I feel sad for it. So like I said, what I want to talk about is people's knowledge. Now, you guys tune in not to see my pretty little face. You guys tune in because I have information and I have ideas that we like to share as a community, right? So, I'm sorry, let me fix this camera. So there's a clip that goes on the camera so that it can sit. There's a monitor clip. But for some strange reason, when I was taking the desk apart and then putting it back together again, I lost the clip. So now what happens is I had to use double-sided tape until I ordered another clip. So that tape is not sticky enough for the camera to stick to the monitor. So we'll see if this holds. Otherwise, I'll have to put another piece of double-sided tape on there. Anyway, we were talking about getting information, getting the right information, or why don't people have the right information? Why do they think, or why do they not know? I mean, you're here to share in the information that we have and to try to learn, right? Mostly about retirement. Now, I had somebody ask me about, I talked about this last time. So I had somebody ask me about, geez, that does not look good. I had somebody ask me about, talking about visas, talking about travel, and things of that nature. And I said, the issue is that I can't really talk about visas and stuff because visas change all the time. I don't know what visa you're on, and if I make a video about a visa and it changes next week, what good video is that? It's not a good video. I'll try to get rid of this like halo. I don't know why it's doing that. So, yeah, I can't do all videos all the time for everyone. I'm going to try to do the best I can. And that means, not being able to like be everything for everyone. Switch the camera here. That doesn't do anything. Anyway, so I'll try to fix that a little bit later. What I wanted to focus on, the most important thing, was what I'm trying to get across to everyone is I'm not trying to teach, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. What I'm trying to do is show you where I came from, where I am now, and what I'm doing to get to what I want to do so that you can learn from the mistakes I made and from my current personal experience. So I think what I'm trying to accomplish is showing you my adventure of getting to where I want to get to. I think that's I think that that's what I'm trying to do here. So I'm glad that you guys are joining along for the ride. Darren, always love hearing your opinions and your ideas. I mean, you made a comment about the text, and let me tell you something. I know some people, you either love closed captioning and subtitles or you don't. And the thing is, forced subtitles have been proven to help channels. So, I mean, I know that YouTube and stuff have like closed captioning, but the thing is that turning it on, a lot of people may or may not know how to do that. And the other thing is as well, is that my audience is, oh, come on. I'm just gonna put on a new piece of tape. I still can't believe, like, where did that little clip disappear to? Like, it's a tiny clip. Now the camera's not moving. All right. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. Come on, baby. It's too far. That's better. All right. So that should work. So how can I help you guys get to your answers? I'm not gonna do like every video for everyone. Like Darren, you always give great advice and constructive criticism and stuff. Like I'm gonna keep the closed captioning, because when people are scrolling through videos on YouTube, if there's closed captioning and they're in the subway or they're just in a public place, which my analytics shows that these people are, they're watching it on phones and tablets, not on TVs or computers. I have to make an assumption, and from my personal experience, when I'm on the bus, on the subway, or whatever, sitting around, I'm scrolling. And if I see the subtitles already burned in, I'm going to stop and read them. So I'm seeing a lot of my shorts are converting people to viewers. So again, being a new channel, I need to try to gain that demographic to sign up. And we're doing really well. Like, you guys, thank you so much for joining. Truly appreciate you guys subscribing, liking, and commenting. A lot of new commenters asking questions. I love it. I will answer every single one, because it is a small channel. I have that time to do that. So having subtitles on, I'm going to keep doing that, because it's just so important. The demographics also is 100% over 35, over 40. um, and we're getting a predominantly North American and English speaking audience. North American, Australia, New Zealand, Europe. We do have a little bit of Sri Lanka and strangely a little bit of India. So I need to focus the. Thank you for watching, my brothers and sisters from Sri Lanka and my those curious from India. But I'm not sure that demographic wants to retire in Southeast Asia because you already live here. But I'm happy to have anyone who's interested in learning how I'm trying to achieve my retirement goals, to join the community and share in ideas. That's why we're here. We're sharing. I had another subscriber ask questions about demographics and how sorry, not demographic, was asking how what was the question? It was asking how the age factor, like pension, and how the demographics are shifting, so that what's going to end up happening is that people are not going to be able to get their pension. And she is afraid that she's in her mid-30s, that she will not have a pension when she retires. I said, yes, that is a fear. That is why you need to focus on your own work and efforts and not rely on the government to give you a pension. I'm lucky, my pension's coming in 2.5 years. In 3 years, sorry, 3 years. 3 years, 2 months. Sorry, my pension will start in January. So in 3.5 years, give or take. But with all of your help, with all of your support, I hope that this channel will grow into something that can benefit me financially. So that's why I'm working so hard. And that's why starting Monday, we are going to be doing 4 vlogs a week plus 2 live streams. So content every single day except Saturday. So you're going to see my ugly face every day. So please click that like button, smash that subscribe, as the kids say, and hit the bell icon. Then you know when a video is coming up. Okay, you'll get notifications of videos going live. So that's why I really appreciate everybody's joining, because I'm seeing the views. I'm not getting as many views as I was before on the old channel, but the views I'm getting are converting into long watch times. Like I remember Lady Sarah's channel. She had 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers. Now she did her channel the right way. She grew it naturally. But her views were like 1 minute, not very long, average views. She was getting, few thousand views on each video, but she was getting minimal view time. I'm getting, 100 views on a video, but I'm getting 17 minutes of view time average, which is spectacular. So I'm using ChatGPT to help me analyze what is good, what is bad, what changes I have to make, and how I have to improve the back end to get the right people watching, right? So the front end is all what you guys want. Like for the next week or so, we're going to focus a little bit more on lifestyle. We're going to focus on what's going on here in Sri Lanka, my preparations for my upcoming move to Cebu for half a year. That's going to be an adventure. So I'm glad you guys are going to join me for that. Um, yeah, it's a little bit better. There we go. Got a new light bar. It's incredible. Terry joining the party. Thanks a lot. And Terry, Darren says Darren's there. Darren, Terry's here. Glad you guys are doing great. Terry, oh, jeez, man, I gotta write this down. I have it written down somewhere. I just can't find it right now. Remind me, you're in the UK again, right? As far as I remember, or in Canada. I'm trying to remember, and I'm very sorry that I forgot, but I really am so bad with short-term memory. Really, really bad with it. I don't know why I'm bad with it, but I should figure out a way to improve it. Maybe study more. But anyway, Terry, thanks for joining, as always. Uh, Today we were talking, as I said, welcome to the show. Today we were talking about how to. What are you supposed to listen to? Like, who are you supposed to listen to? You definitely don't listen to me. Okay, that's right. You're in Canada. Okay, great. Geez, what time is it there? It's early morning for you, or oh no, it's evening. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this time zone is for you guys. It's Saturday night. Thank you for joining on a Saturday night. Saturday. Terry, I got a brand new ultra wide 40-inch monitor. So I got rid of the 3 monitors and I got one big one. So I still have 3 sections of the monitor. It's just on one screen now, which is not taxing the CPU of my laptop. And then I got a standing desk. I bought a standing desk. That's why you see the old desk is over here. And I turned the old computer into a workstation. Yeah. Evening for you, and for Darren, it is tomorrow. Like, it's Saturday night for you. It's Sunday morning for him, 11 a.m. for him, and for me, it's Sunday early morning. It's great that like we got this like global presence. I absolutely love how we're able to connect across the entire globe. That is so beautiful. We have Terry in Canada, we have Darren in Australia, and we have me in Sri Lanka, and we're all here together. So if you're here, please say hi. Let me know where you're from. The heck is that? That was the background music. It sounded like rain. Anyway. So what if anything are we supposed to do? Well, my thought is like, take all the information that you have. Okay? Take all the information you have from all of the sources that you have access to. And then do your own research. That's really important. And I think that where my channel differs is that I'm trying to provide not an answer on how to do things, although I do provide that information. I do provide an answer. I think it's more about the journey, right? I think it's more about how I got here, what happened to me in the past, so that we can try to connect, right? So, and then these live streams where you guys are all here and we're chatting about things, we can share ideas and information. So, um, man, I need to lose some weight. Face is getting too fat. um, Mom's cooking. Let me tell you, this mom's cooking is just way too good. And she made pork chops for me, and then she made pasta for me. She's been cooking a nonstop. I don't know why. Maybe she's cleaning out the freezer. I don't know. But I normally don't eat dinners, and she's been making me my favorite dinners recently. Mom and dad are doing great. Dad's birthday is coming up end of September. The 88. He's in the hospital this couple days to get some tests done. So he's been overnight in the hospital um, on his kidneys, and he's getting old. He's 88. I mean, that is, and he's still kicking it, still kicking it. But you know, at that age, with some people, you know, parts mentally, physically stop working in their best, and he's getting there. He's getting there. So if something happens to him in the next year or the next month, I won't be surprised. It's not going to be a shock. Oh my goodness. I deal with, I've always dealt with death in a different way because I've never had anybody I know die. I've been spared that. Experience. I've known people who have died, but no one close to me. I mean, my grandparents passed away, but I barely knew them. My aunt passed away recently. I barely knew her. The only people I know who are close to me are mom and dad and my brother. I've had friends pass away, but they were acquaintances. I've had one close friend pass away. It was a shock. She passed away of cancer about a few years ago. And this is someone who I knew very, very well. Like, she had been to my home many times for dinners and barbecues. We used to hang out together at the club. I knew her, I went out with her sister once or twice, her older sister. Her older sister has kids who are like grown up now. I remember her firstborn. I met her firstborn when she was about 5 or 6, and now she's like 20. I see her on Instagram, and because she's friends with other friends of mine who were friends with her sister. So, it's strange when that happened. That was the only one that shocked me. I had another friend who passed away, he drowned. And then I had another ex-girlfriend pass away from spinal meningitis. And she was young. She was like 28. But I had only known her a short time. So I guess my life experience has not shocked me with death, I guess. I've never experienced it. And now I'm at an age where, when people pass, I'm like, yeah, they were old. I've had high school friends who've passed away in their 40s and 50s from one thing or another. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen these people in 30 years, so it doesn't affect me that much. Like, my best friend from high school passed away. And I'm like, yeah, he was a good guy, but I haven't spoken to him in 30 years. So if something happens, it's like, for me, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know how I'll react. I don't think I'll be sad because, both my parents are religious. So they believe that they're going to a different place. So at at the end of their life, they will have this realization, right? So, you know, they're going to be happy. Am I going to be sad? I mean, probably. But I mean, I was always an independent person. So I always was without my family from a very young age. You know, I didn't see my family as, all the time, like once every couple of months. And then when I was in Korea, once every year or every 2 years. So I don't know what I'm saying. It's different. I guess I will react differently, I think. That's why I told mom, when I'm gone, if something happens, let's talk about it and see what are we going to do. And the same thing for you, like, do you really need me to come back? She's like, no. You say your goodbyes before, and then if something happens, you come back if you want to, and if not, you have to prepare for your future. And that's one of the things that we're going to share here is like, when you retire in Southeast Asia, you're away from your families. And part of the realization of um, moving and settling down in a new country is the cost of living. And if you have to factor in flights back to your home country, especially if you're coming from the West, that's expensive. And I'm only a few hours away. Like I'm 6 hours from Bangkok and the same to Philippines, like 4 to 6 hours to Bangkok, 4 hours to Bangkok, 6 hours to Philippines, right? So it's not long. From Australia or from Canada, Australia, a day, 12, 14-hour flight. From Canada, it's 17 hours, no, more, it's 20 hours. You're from Toronto to Sri Lanka, it is directly on the other side of the planet. It is exactly around the other side of the planet. From east to west and north to, well, even not as much north to south, because Toronto is north of the equator and Sri Lanka is also north of the equator, but you know, you have to go south and east west. The funny thing is when my brother comes to Canada, he usually circles the globe. From Vancouver, he'll fly to Korea or Japan and then to Sri Lanka. And then going home, he'll go via Doha or London to Vancouver. So he circumnavigates the globe because it's the same both directions, he says. It's the same amount of time and the same amount of money. But if you're going to fly for a day, that is an expensive economy class ticket, and it is a ridiculous business class ticket because you're on an airplane for 20 hours. Heaven help you on that 17-hour Singapore to Dubai flight, or the New York to Dubai flight, or the Australia to Dubai flight. Those are 17, 18-hour flights. My God, in an airplane for 17, 18 hours in economy. I would knock myself out for that flight. But I fly business class. So, flying back home for you is something you need to figure out. So saying goodbye to your family and picking and choosing who you go home to see is kind of something that you also need to factor into your decision making. Darren, you fly back and forth 2 or 3 times a year, but you've got businesses, and you've got family, you've got kids, and you've got businesses here, you got businesses back home. So you have a legitimate reason to go back and forth. I don't. And I've talked about this before. I am going to use the next few years before full retirement to travel and figure out where I am going to settle down in. Like, or which places I'm going to spend some time in. So here's I've talked about this before, but I'm just going to quickly go over it again. Short term, midterm, long term. Short term is like the next 2 years. Midterm is the next 10 years. And then long term is the last 15 years. So between now and 60, I'm going to travel to countries and explore explore the locations. I'm going to see what each place has, how each place fits into my lifestyle. Do I want to come back to this place? Like, for example, Subic Bay, never. I'll never go back to Subic Bay. Not interested in Subic Bay. Vietnam, someplace I definitely want to go back to. I have to explore new places in Vietnam. That new clip cannot come soon enough. Let me tell you something. That new clip, I ordered it off of AliExpress, so it should take a week or two to get here, but it cannot get here fast enough. Jeez, this thing is annoying. And watch, the day it arrives is the day I'll find the clip. Somewhere in this room, somewhere on that table on the other side of the room is that clip. And I don't know why I can't find it, but it's a tiny clip. It's about this big. And it clips onto the monitor, and then the camera sits on the clip magnetically. And it's bloody annoying. So anyway, so in the next 2 years, I'm going to travel short term to different places. So I'm going to do, this time I'm doing Cebu. And then next year, this time next year, I'm going to do 6 months in Thailand, because I haven't done long-term Thailand. And I'm going to do southern Pattaya, because that, again, this is two places that I really enjoy because of the people that I've met there. So those are the factors, like food, weather, culture, healthcare, people. So I have some great group of friends in southern Pattaya. But instead of going on vacation, it's going to be long term. So I'm going to be staying away from the city. I'm going to find a place far away that's more cost effective. I mean, the place I got this time, because I don't know Cebu, is a little bit more expensive than I should be paying. I'm paying about $500 a month. I should be paying about $300. So I'll have to, when I'm there, I'm going to explore places and find a cheaper landlord and get to know the local people, right? That's why I love Pattaya, because I know so many people there. I know where to live. I know what places to rent. So I already have contacts there. I can just call them up and say, listen, I'm coming. I need a place to stay. I want to stay at your place here, blah, 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 landlord. Then once I fully retire, or I have the funds to retire definitely in 3 years, I'll have the funds to retire. Maybe I can do it in 2 if this channel takes off, which I'm predicting it will by October, November. I'll be monetized in October or November. And then hopefully I'll get some good sponsorship from advertisers, like travel insurance, VPNs, the things that I use. I'm not going to do things I don't use. You're not going to see any crypto. You're not going to see any crap. you're going to see things that I use: VPNs, eSIMs, AI tools. Um, AI tools, software, healthcare, those kinds of things, travel insurance, those kinds of things. So um, then when I fully retire, I'm going to do the traveling thing for the next maybe 5 years. Um, I don't know. I am going to do like, 3 months here, 6 months there, whatever. So I don't have to get a retirement visa, because retirement visas are expensive and complicated and um, always changing. So I don't know what I'm going to do today. Maybe if I get a good visa, I'll maybe pick a place quicker. Maybe instead of staying only a short time, I'll stay longer. Like I can stay up to a year in Thailand and up to 3 years in the Philippines. 2 years, 3 years at the max. Um, but that's what I'll do. But then eventually, once I get to be about 70, I'm gonna have to like pick a place and settle down. And then when I'm 80, I'm probably gonna have to come back to Sri Lanka. It all depends on the finances and my physical health, because I'll need to be taken care of. So I'll have to come back to Sri Lanka to um, go into a home, because I'm a citizen and it's cheaper here. Like getting luxury home here, like Darren lives right next door to one of the most luxurious ones in all of Sri Lanka. That's on a beach. I would prefer to be on the beach. Darren, you are just absolutely. I love it. I love it. We were just chatting. Don't worry about it, brother. You can go back and watch it again. You can check. You can check on it later on. Um, so I guess you know I have a vision of where my future is, and it all depends on two very important things. Number one, my health, and number two, financial. So financially, will deem what I do and when I do it, and my health will designate when I do it. Right, like being like when I settle down, when I come back to Sri Lanka, etc., etc. Um, but that's 30 years from now. If I calculate till the age of 90, right? Let's say like 85, I should probably think about coming back to Sri Lanka and getting into a old folks home. But who knows what technology will exist in then, right? Terry, yeah, I think I do plan on being in a Sri Lankan old folks home. And I think because of Dad's experience, because he has a full-time nurse, and I see the quality, and I see the professionalism and the cost. Now, obviously, my investments will grow over the next, let's say 80, in the next 20 years, 25 years. My investments will grow just naturally through compound interest. But will it beat inflation and the cost of a home? I don't know. So, I'm hoping, here's, crossing my fingers that, like I said, YouTube will definitely continue on for as long as I'm physically able to do it, because I love doing it. I mean, I've invested a lot of money into editing tools and all of the AI I use and the applications I use to edit my videos, and the cameras and the microphones and all of that stuff. So I'm going to recoup that, you know, by continuing to do it. And as I said, I made a video which is going out next week about, we talk about physical health, maintaining your physical health, maintaining your emotional health, spiritual. And then the final thing is your mental health. And doing this is a hobby. I love doing it. It keeps you focused and your brain working. Like the guy who installed I got a new standing desk. And he's a tech guy. He's an entrepreneur. He's a young guy. He's like 28-ish. I love that. I love supporting local little companies. I could have bought my desk from, the big boy store, the big box store, and had it installed. But these guys are a little local guy. I paid a little bit more, but I've got quality. I mean, he'll come back and fix without a question anything, anytime. Because I bought his desk, the biggest one, and I bought every accessory he had. I bought the invisible wireless charger. I bought the stand. I bought the light. I bought the cup holder, and I bought 2 extension boxes, like a multi-tap. We call it multi-tap, but like extension cords. These are heavy duty, surge protected. They're amazing. And all of my plugs fit into them. It's international, so any plug will fit into it. I found that the other plugs I had wouldn't sit properly. They were very loose inside because the receptacle wasn't gripping it. So it kept like turning on and off and on and off. And I was like, pain in my ass. So yeah, I spent a little bit more, but I got quality and I invested in a business. Who the hell is calling me on my Korean phone? Suspected spam caller on a Sunday morning. So yeah, I think that is a good long-term end of life plan, is to be in care here in Sri Lanka, because I'm a citizen. I have all my assets are here. And when the end comes, I can properly be taken care of by the lawyers and the government and everything like that. Like all of my end of life plans is easier to manage here, being a citizen, financially. Everything can be taken care of here. Like I don't have anyone to give my money to. I'll give it to you, Terry, or Darren. No, but I have already written a will, and I did a video on that here in Sri Lanka. And I've designated my executor, and I've also designated my heirs. And there's 3 heirs. The executor is 1, and then Lady Sarah, Princess Jasmine, and my best friend Johnny, who are much younger than me. Johnny's getting close. Johnny's younger than me by about 10 years. I forget how old he is. Jasmine and Sarah are in their early 30s. So in 30 years, they're going to be entering retirement age. So what little assets I have at that point is going to go towards just remembering me, I guess. In 20 years, I'll have the assets of the house, because mom and dad will be gone by, not gone, but I'm pretty sure, they're in their 80s now. So 100, I mean, great if they live to be 100, 110. I'll be happy with that. But all of those assets will go towards, split between my brother and I. And, as I get older, I'm going to spend more. As I get older, I'm going to make sure to So like let's give it for example. So I've estimated that my cost of living is around $1,200 a month right now today, without health care or health insurance, right? So paying out of pocket for medical and maintaining my health. And as I get older, my healthcare costs are going to increase. My cost of living is probably going to stay the same, barring inflation. Let's even go 5%. I'm going to fly less because I'm not going to be flying from Sri Lanka. I'm going to be flying domestically. So in the Southeast Asia triangle. Eventually, I'm probably never coming back to Sri Lanka once mom and dad are gone. So that cost is out the window. I mean, that's $2,000 a year that I spend on flying from here to Southeast Asia. But once I'm in Southeast Asia, it's like $100 because you're not going to fly 1 hour business class. It's just not. Maybe premium economy, but it doesn't exist. Like to fly from Manila to Cebu, unless you're going to pay a ridiculous amount of money on Philippine Airlines or one of the other airlines that are flying, like from Korea or something like that, that stop in Manila and then go on to Cebu. You're not gonna you're gonna pay a ridiculous amount of money. It's just not worth it. But once I become older and I have more money to spend, and I am never going to spend the capital. I'm going to invest it so that I get passive income, and I'm going to live off the passive income. So that passive income will grow, which gives me more disposable income. Now, I'm not going to spend all of it. I'm going to reinvest it so that the capital grows continuously to fund my life. Because I would rather have it at the end of my life than in the middle of my retirement plan. Because, like I said, Johnny, Jasmine, and Sarah don't need my money. They don't need it. It's something I want to give to them so that they remember me, that they can use towards their kids' education or something. And that's probably what I'll do is that I'll, depending at that time whether they have kids or not. Oh no, their kids will be old. Oh, I'll give it to their grandkids. I'll give it as an education trust. That's a good idea. I didn't think about that. Because they're not going to need the money. The power just went out. Oh, it's back on. Okay. Yeah, so Terry, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we were having huge problems with the power shutting off and resetting and me going offline. So it was the UPS. The UPS I have two of them. The one of them is not holding the charge. Like I turn it on, it holds a charge for about 30 seconds. Now, because it's not holding the charge and I had a lot of load on it, it was tripping and shutting down. So that's why I would lose power. So now I'm using the smaller UPS, but the only thing plugged into it is this screen and the modem, and then maybe a few of the peripherals, I think. I got to double check the wiring today. After this live stream, I have today off because I wanted to double check everything, all of the connections I made and all of the setup I made to ensure that it's all the way I like it, and test the desk, because it is a standing desk. So I'm going to, play with it and get it set up properly. So yeah, Terry, I think it's best for me to go back to Sri Lanka. Now, this channel is all about retiring in Southeast Asia. So for you to go back to your home country and spend money on a retirement home is probably not a good idea because of the cost. Now, this is personal. Each person's going to be different based on their personal situation. If you've got family, if you've got friends that are important to you. Maybe it's important for you to go back home and be home at the end, if that's where you want to be interned. Me, I'm not religious. I'll have no one. And my instructions are, cremation and then disposal. Who wants to keep? I don't want a gravesite. I don't want an internment. I just dispose of it. Because here in Sri Lanka, I'm going to talk about that in another video as well, probably when I return, because there's no need to do it now, is the cost of burial here, or like funerals. It's like grave sites and interment and the funeral costs is not it's an interesting thing to look at. It's not, again, these are things that people don't think about, right? And you have a life insurance policy to help take care of that when you're younger. But when you're older, you don't have a life insurance. Well, maybe you do. I don't have life insurance. The cost of a funeral is not cheap. And if I happen to pass away, or one of us on retirement, do you want the body sent back home? Or, that's the thing. That's another thing you got to try to figure out. Your travel insurance, does it have repatriation, right? Because that's an expensive thing, because your cargo, you're not a seat. So it's much more expensive, I think. I haven't looked into it. It has to be, because they have to handle the body, right? I mean, if you're going back as a body, that's more expensive than going back as ashes. But my thing is that no matter where I am, wherever it happens, the instructions are cremation and disposal in the ocean if possible. If not, then just dispose of it. Like, I don't care. I'm dead. I don't know. It's a little morbid, but sorry, Darren, I didn't mean to say like trust. I meant to say like in a fund that will be used for, like, the instructions will be, here, use this for your grandkids' education, but it's like an open account. Like, I meant to say it as like, as I used the word incorrectly. No, I'm not going to be controlling. Absolutely not. The money's just going to go to them. But like I said, what I meant to say is that they personally won't need it. Each one of them have money. They won't need it. And if they have kids at that time, their kids will be fully grown. Their kids will be, in their 40s at that time. I mean, if I went today, there's nothing. Split between 3 people after, costs and stuff like that. But when I'm 80 or 90 years old, there'll be, we're talking millions. So that's something that can affect them, but I don't know. Oh, we'll see at that point. But yeah, no, I didn't mean like setting it up into a trust fund or anything like that. No. I meant the word more as like a designation, right? So who the heck is texting me? What the heck is going on? People calling me from Korea. Why? I don't know. Anyway, I personally think that how do I use the word correctly? Like, when you get older, like very, very old, at the end of your life, you may or may not have the mental capacity to make decisions for you. So do you trust the country you're in to manage your affairs? What are the tax implications? What is the legal obligations, all of that. These are questions I have not explored, I have not looked at, because I haven't thought about it because it's so far away. Now, in the event this happens to me in the next 3 to 5 years, I'm coming back to Sri Lanka, obviously. My my homeowner's insurance covers me until 70 or 75. So repatriation is what will happen. And in the event of something happening to me overseas, I'll be cremated there and returned and then disposed of. But I think and again, Terry, I haven't decided. I just have like a kind of an idea in my head that this is probably the way to go. But obviously, great content for me to start exploring this in 10 years is to start to explore what would happen if I went into a nursing home. Let's use the word for that. A hospice or nursing home or elder care home where I need someone to take care of me, physically. And then what about my mental health? Who do I trust to take care of me without, taking advantage? So that's where coming back to Sri Lanka for me feels a little bit safer. And the cost, I don't know what it costs in Thailand or Philippines. I don't know what the quality is. But like I said, I've seen it here and I'm perfectly happy with it. And I, just from a spiritual sense, I would like to end my life where it began. I mean, obviously I was born in China, but my roots are here historically. So I'm not spiritual, I'm not religious, I'm not nationalistic, but if you're going to choose a place, you might as well choose the place where you came from, right? But again, I digress. Would you want to come back to Canada and go to a retirement home in Canada? From what I've heard, not that good. That's what I've heard from people I know. And the cost, I mean, I know what the cost of living is in Canada right now. I can just imagine what the cost in a nursing home would be. Just insane. So let's shift it. What about when you're retired in Sri Lanka or Philippines or Thailand or Cambodia or any countless island in Southeast Asia? Between Sri Lanka and Philippines. And so somebody asked me, do I consider Sri Lanka Southeast Asia? And I said, no. For my purposes, yes. For my purposes, Southeast Asia in my mind, not from my knowledge, but in my perception, okay, of why I call it Southeast Asia is because it's my triangle. My triangle consists of Sri Lanka, Philippines, Indonesia. So the furthest west I'll ever go is Sri Lanka. The furthest east I'll go is Philippines. The furthest north would be the line between Sri Lanka and Philippines. And the furthest south is Indonesia, Bali. The furthest north I doubt I will ever go further. I gotta look at a map. I should look at a map. My geography is pretty good. Geography is one of my best subjects, geography and history. but I got to look at a map. The furthest north I would go, looking at the map, is Bangkok or Da Nang. So the triangle is an upside down pyramid with Sri Lanka and Philippines being the left and right, and the tip being down past Singapore towards Bali. So that's my triangle. My triangle is like this, right? With Sri Lanka being here, Philippines being here. This is Bangkok and Vietnam, and this is Indonesia. Honestly, the reality is it's a rectangle, right? With Sri Lanka being on the west and Philippines being on the east. But when you take Sri Lanka out of the equation, it's Bangkok, Krabi, and Philippines. Like that southern peninsula of Bangkok coming down through Cambodia to Vietnam and then up the other coast of Vietnam, that's the main area. That's where I'm going to focus on. Let me show you. Because I've starred on Google Maps all of my favorite places and the places I've been and the places I want to go to. So as you can see, we have all of Sri Lanka over here. This is Krabi. This is Bangkok, Pattaya. This is southern Thailand and Vietnam. Starts from here and goes all the way around to Da Nang. Then you have Clark in the north. You have Palawan and Cebu over here. And then Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and then Indonesia down here. Now you can see that the main idea is right in this rectangle right here. Krabi, not so much. Maybe Hua Hin is someplace I would go look at later. But as you can see here, this little rectangle here between Thailand and Philippines is where I will be focused on. So this rectangle is, I call it a triangle, but it's really honestly just a rectangle. Going down south to Bali is someplace I want to go to as part of my bucket list, right? And then, obviously, I would love to go to Papua New Guinea and like Micronesia, like over here as like a holiday. But where I want to live is like in this rectangle here. Once mom and dad are gone, once that's all done, then I don't need to come back to Sri Lanka. So those costs will be gone. But like I said to you guys, you are not. I'm lucky that I live in South Asia. So for me to retire in Southeast Asia is very easy and cheap. But for you, having this infrastructure and home base in a Western country, are you willing to give that up? And is it something that you can? The connections you have there, the friends. People say, oh, I have so many friends here. But you'll make new friends in this new place. So one of the things about, geez, living without air conditioning is that I always have the windows open, like wide open. It has the mesh netting, but I have a door here and two windows, and they're wide open all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like even at night. But I have screen on it, right? Even the door has a screen. It's the dust. Like this desk is only a day old, and it's already like you can see the dust on it. Oh, I'm gonna have to figure out how to keep this clean because it's a black MDF desk, and it attracts the dust like you wouldn't believe. Anyway, um, to wrap things up, because we're getting on 90 minutes now, so I want to say thank you to you guys again for watching for this long. Some of the things that you need to figure out is what is the three stages of the end of your life: the short term, the near term, and the long term, or the end. Well, the short term is I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing right now, is exploring and continue working. I don't think I'll ever stop working, whether that work will be online work or whether that'll be YouTube full time. I'm in October, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go YouTube full time. November. My contracts end in November, and it's generally slower time December, January, February. If I don't get a new contract by the time I come back to Sri Lanka in March, I will be full-time YouTube, like dedicated, like 7 days a week, working, making good content, traveling around, making new content, like figuring out what it is that I can do to make the channel something you guys are interested in. I mean, you're interested in now because you're sitting here for an hour and a half listening to me spout off about nothing. So thank you. But I think, like, going back to the original topic is like, where are we getting our information from? And that's why I do this, is because I want you to join me on this journey and see and learn what I learned and how I learned it. And then with our good friends Darren and Terry and all of you others, we can share ideas and we can hash out, how are we going to do this? What should we do? Like what ideas does everyone have to help us get to the end? And we can share ideas. We don't always have to agree. Okay? We don't always have to agree. Darren and I never agree. We do agree on some really important things, but there's some things we don't agree on. But I mean, I appreciate his point because I understand his point. I respect it and I understand it because he's a much more intelligent man than I am. I'll give him that. I mean, Terry, we don't know each other that well. We've only met once. So, but I've met Darren quite a few times and had really interesting conversations with him. And he's very intelligent, very smart. And, I wish I'd met you decades ago. I think my life would have been much different. Full-time YouTube. What I mean by full-time YouTube is I need something to do, brother. I need to have, look at that dust. My gosh, the sun is shining on the desk and I can see the dust. Oh, just a layer. It's not even 24 hours old. Oh, anyway, I need something to do. And I did a video on this. It's coming out next week. Is you need to have hobbies. Otherwise, you're going to fall back on vices. And that will ruin your retirement. And I've seen it happen. I saw it happen in Supik Bay. Oh my God, this Supik Bay is one of the saddest places I've ever been in my life. The area specifically that I was in, it's just a bunch of old Americans, I'm sorry to say it, or Western men, just sitting around waiting to die, just drinking. And I see it in Pattaya as well. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to fall. I don't want to have nothing to do so that I fall into that vice. I don't drink. I don't socialize. I'm not interested in socializing. And I don't do the broccoli. So those are things that when you have nothing to do, you fall into those vices. You know, I could go to the bars and hang out and talk to girls. I could drink. I mean, I remember walking in Subic Bay, going to town, and in the morning, at 9 o'clock in the morning, the place would open up for breakfast, and there's a guy sitting there with a beer, just sitting at the bar, looking out onto the street, and coming back home or whatever in the evening, he's still there. I'm like, that's the saddest thing I've ever seen. I don't want that. So I enjoy YouTube. I enjoy doing this. Because I'm a social person, I get to talk to you guys. I get to hang out with you guys and share my adventure with you. So I'm glad you're here for the ride. So let's see where it goes. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it plays out. And we can learn from each other. So that's the thing. It's like I'm watching a lot of social media, I don't do TikTok, I do Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So I'll do the reels in Facebook, the Instagram feed, and obviously YouTube. So I have the people I'm subscribed to who I'll watch their videos. And speaking of, I thank you for subscribing. And then what I like is I like the shorts. I flip through the shorts a lot. I'll spend hours just flipping through it. And I see these people talking about, like, because I've been doing a lot of searches on YouTube SEO and AI engines and stuff like that, I'm getting a lot of that being fed to me by the algorithm. So I see these guys talking about this is what you should do, and they're selling something. Because halfway through, it's like, I use this tool, blah, 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 blah. And it's a blatant, without them telling it. Now, I'm going to tell you that I'm being paid by this company. They're not. And then there's shorts. That, 7 things that you should do. Number 1, you should do this. Number 2, you should do this. Number 6, you should use this tool because I love using it. It helps me every day. Blatant commercial. They don't tell you it's a commercial, but it's a blatant commercial if you look at it carefully. X, I never got into X. Now, I do have an X account, and I have a Pinterest account, but I use those only to post YouTube links so that I'm marketing because I'm using this tool. Again, I'm promoting the idea that I use AI tools. I use this tool that I post something in there, and then it sends it to all my links. So it'll send it to Facebook, Instagram, X, Pinterest, and YouTube. So I don't have to do it 5 times. I only have to do it once. And you can schedule it. So I schedule for the week all of my posts with the tags, the links, and all of the SEO stuff to get people to come to my channel. And it's a great little tool. If you guys are interested, you can ask me, and I'm not being paid by them, and it's free. It has limits in the free service, but I'm using it within the free service because why not, right? And it does it intuitively. It's really a cool tool. So, what else I wanted to mention before we wrap up and I go take a nap? X is a cesspool. I love it. I have never been on X or Twitter. When it was formerly Twitter, and not for any other reason than it's just that's what Instagram is. I don't see the difference. I used to be on everything. I used to be on Twitter. I used to be on Telegram. I used to be on all of them. And then I got rid of all because it was just too much. How do you manage all of that? So for entertainment purposes, my number one is YouTube. YouTube Shorts. I really love YouTube Shorts. Number two is Facebook Reels. I love the Reels. They're really cool stories. Mostly I watch it about cats. I do have this one thing. I like to watch First Amendment audits from America. I think it's hilarious. That America, the land of the free, the cops still don't know what a First Amendment right is. It's hilarious to watch those. That public officials don't understand what a First Amendment right is in America. Absolutely hilarious. And how not free you are in certain European countries. I don't know about Australia because I haven't seen a lot of news about Australia, but in England, you can be arrested for what you post on Facebook. That's hilarious to me. I'm going to do a video about the differences in societies between the West and Southeast Asia. This is good, the bad, and the ugly. X is great if you can wade through all the MAGA crap. Yeah, that, and that's another reason is I'm not really interested in exposing myself to things that are negative. I watch cat rescue videos. I watch computer and tech videos. I watch funny videos. Austin Andrews, some tech guy, really funny, good energy, hilarious guy who buys mystery tech from Temu and AliExpress, and then he is absolutely hilarious. I watch a lot of science. Right? A lot of science vlogging. On Instagram, it's more about, what am I seeing on Instagram? I don't even know because those are like inspiration. And or funny reels. Like you'll see on my Facebook, if you're part of my Facebook, I post like funny memes. And then I also share those to Lady Sarah because she laughs at them. And the one is like two people talking, and it's like, when you travel, window or aisle, when you fly, the person like, window. And the guy's like, well, I don't like the window seat because then I have to walk over somebody to get to the bathroom or take a walk. And she's like, I don't fly on those kinds of planes. I'm laughing because she's talking about business class or first class, where every seat is a window and aisle seat. So, yeah, those are hilarious. Darren, that's absolutely true. You gotta, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You gotta take a few hits. But there's something to be said that if you've already been hit enough, why keep getting hit, right? Right? I believe that I'm already the strong person I need to be. But I can always learn more, which is why I appreciate you so much, right? Younger me would have not probably respected and understood your knowledge and the ability to learn from people who are different than you. That's one of the things I've learned in my age, is that you can learn a lot, and it doesn't have to be from like-minded. And we're going to do a video about this, is about the social structure of the Western world right now and why it's not working. is that like-minded people get together and they just reinforce their opinions with each other and make themselves, oh yeah, I'm right because he's right, because he looks smarter than me and sounds smarter than me, and he's saying the same things that I'm thinking. So it's just a never-ending circle. So I like to surround myself with people who are different than me so that I can learn from them. Now, I'm not saying this about you, Darren, but there's two things that can happen when someone tells you something from a position of what they believe to be authority or knowledge. Number one, you can agree with them and you can say, you know what I understood of this problem and solution, they are reinforcing that the decision I made is correct. Or number two, this person's an idiot and the decision I made is the right decision, even though they're telling me that it's the wrong decision, because everything they're saying is stupid. So it's not you. It's not you. That's not what I'm thinking. All right. But, and great point. I don't trust people who agree with me. Yes, man. Absolutely not. And that's one thing why Lady Sarah and I get along so well, is because I verbally punch her upside the head every time she does something stupid. She is a super intelligent woman, but she is so naive because she has not experienced a lot of life. I'm not going to get into the details as to why or anything like that. I mean, there's reasons behind why things happen to people and whatever. But I have had a lot of worldly experience. And I think that gives me the insight to be able to make comments. I may not always be correct, I may not always be right, but I can talk about things from a position of knowledge and experience. So, Darren, I guess that's why we're good friends, is because we don't agree on a lot of things. But I'm going to say this again, and I love that you comment on here and that we can form this community. And I love how Terry asks you questions. Last time we had a great chat. I went back through the chat and loved it, guys. Loved it. I'm waiting until we can get more people into the live streams and we can have like a really great conversation. And I want to keep it like real. I don't want to get it political or emotional or personal. I want to keep it real. But you have some really great ideas and great opinions. They don't always fit with my ideas of what I want to accomplish. But having that knowledge in the back of my head, when I take my path, your information is sitting there. And when I reach a point, I'll be like, yeah, Darren said that. Maybe I should think about that. Yeah, true. And in Thailand, it's the same thing. Thailand, it's like that. In Korea, oh my God, I had to learn so badly. I'll give you a little thing. In Korea, a lot of people don't realize this, that they will never say no to you, ever. It took me so long to learn that maybe, or I'll think about it, means no. So I'm beating my head against a brick wall trying to figure out why I can't get beyond the objection. And it's because it's a no, but they won't tell you no because it's rude in their culture. Guys, I really need to wrap things up. I want to get something to eat. I'm hungry. Mom is up, and we're going to go get Dad this afternoon, bring him back home. His tests are finished this morning. the topic today was like, where do you get your information? And I am really adamant that your information should come from first-hand knowledge. So you, meaning you. But before that, you should kind of do your research, which is why YouTube is so beautiful. All like back in the day, I used to follow people who were like traveling or semi-retired in different places. And I learned from them. And I hope that that's what you'll get from me. That once I get out of Sri Lanka and once I get out of here and start living, which will happen in 31 days. So excited. That you can join me in learning and in what I'm learning. Like every day I'm learning. And if you join me in that, that is a good experience because you can see the process. Not just me telling you, but you can actually experience it online. I think that that's key and important. The second thing is, like personal experience, going out and doing it, which is what I'm doing. I've watched YouTube, I've done the research, I've used ChatGPT to give me advice and everything like that. And then I go out there and I live it. And then I put the two together. So I don't want you saying, oh, I saw Sam's videos and I saw some great YouTube videos and I want to move to Sri Lanka and I'm going to just pack up and move. No, I don't want you doing that. I want you coming here on a vacation for 2 weeks and doing the tourist thing. Then I want you coming here for a month and spending like 2 months spending a large amount of time in the south, a large amount of time in the mountain or in the city and then the rural or the far north. Like, start whittling down your areas that you want to explore. And then spending time here in the off season to see what it's really like. Can I live for, a month with rain if you live up north, with the cold weather that occurs here, like 20 degrees. Like one time it got down to 7 degrees in upcountry, in Candy. Forget about it. It got cold here once, 22 degrees. I was shivering. I remember being were we in Ella or Neuralia, or I can't remember where it was. I'll never go back again because it was too cold at night. Like I was shivering. I was freezing. It was like 18 degrees. I never want to be that cold again. I mean, for people coming from a cold climate, 18 degrees is warm. But when you live constantly at 32 degrees, 18 is freezing cold, okay? And I hate the cold to begin with. So to feel cold is just awful for me. I haven't been cold in 3 years. Sorry, I haven't felt winter in 3 years. I've been cold a few times here in Sri Lanka. I'm not interested in being cold anymore. So what I want you to do is, if you're thinking about retiring, is I want you to take the steps. So that's why this channel's here. We're going to take the steps together. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, wrapping it up for today. Remember, learn to live life. Don't let life live you. I want you guys to please promise me that you will be good to each other. Be kind to someone today, please. This week. Join me next time, Wednesdays, for our midweek podcast, talking about what happened this week in my life and what's going to happen. Just touching base with you guys. That happens on Wednesday evenings, Sri Lankan time. Sunday early mornings is our live stream, focused on a single topic or trying to, and getting the community involved. And then starting tomorrow, 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, vlogs, Join me for those why don't you. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi. Retire in Southeast Asia with Sammi. We'll see you all on the other side.